So, but what are the challenges we face day-to-day life to obtain this mother's own milk? We see babies are preterm and mothers and babies are being separated. At Niloufer Hospital, we cater to three-fourths of the babies are born outside and referred to us. And these babies being very sick on respiratory support, they cannot be put on breast initially. And so the mother has to express breast milk which they have to start on the first hour of life, which is not happening. And most of the mothers are stressed out because the baby is being sick and nursed in an NICU. So that's why the sufficient mother milk during the first few days of life. And in our NHM data, of the 8 lakh admissions in SNCU, 40% of the babies are admitted for preterm care and 50% of babies are low birth weight. And in about 30 to 50% of babies in various NICUs and 10% of babies in SNCU need donor milk. So what is this impact of donor milk? So when mother's milk is not available, donor milk has been found to reduce the incidence of NEC. And there are various benefits as stated. Even donor milk reduces late onset sepsis, improves feed intolerance. An important thing when the milk is available, it reduces the duration of hospital stay and cost saving. It has been found that the babies get discharged, and these babies are discharged at exclusive breastfeeding and reduces the cost of hospital stay. So when you know that, if you have a donor milk in your unit, the babies who get discharged with mother's own milk is getting increased. The of babies getting discharged and breastfeeding, it is shown that it has increased. So with this thinking thought, we are with the help of 𝐄𝐒𝐈𝐂 Foundation, the first 𝐷 milk bank was established at Niloufer Hospital in October 2017. And this is the team at Niloufer Hospital, enthusiastic and energetic team. And this is the first donor milk which was dispensed to our SNCU preterm baby.
We have made progress. The neonatal mortality has decreased from 29.5 to 24.9, and AMR has also decreased from 40.7 to 32.2. So I believe that proportionately when we in the antenatal period, during the postnatal period, in person-to-person communication, we can use a lot of AV, audiovisual aids, right, pamphlets, etc. Having structured programs to promote breastfeeding. This is also very important. Yesterday we were interacting with another faculty who was saying that they have started online courses for breastfeeding mothers, so that the mothers are put first, so they will take the lead. So structured programs to promote breastfeeding. Promoting early skin-to-skin contact. This is also very vital. It's all quite natural that all the mammals under the sun breastfeed their young ones, right? So it is we the humans build a lot of walls between us. If you just allow the mother and baby to stay together, allow skin-to-skin contact, nature will take over and breastfeeding will automatically go on. So promoting early skin-to-skin contact is very essential. Promoting grooming. They are away from their mothers under the care of farmers, right? Whereas the nursing students who were visiting the delivery room, of course, were helping with deliveries, but most of them were just standing and watching. So whereas there are persons, but early initiation of breastfeeding was not happening. So we started the Bonding Angel program. It's something similar to the Lactation initiative, where the attendant is available along with the mother. Here we are using the services of the nursing students. Each day, a nursing student is a designated bonding angel. You see, the separate badge is given for the bonding angel, right? So their only job of the bonding angel is to bring the mother and baby together, right? And as obstetricians and nurses were with their work, the nursing students quietly started breastfeeding, making sure the mothers and babies were brought together. So at the end of their posting, they also got a bonding angel certificate. So nursing students are happy, mothers and babies were happy, and neonatologists, they are also happy. So we had published it, but we are yet to arrive on the impact of this program. But I am happy that as long as the bonding angels didn't have their exams, the program was going on well. So what are the common obstacles to the breastfeeding during hospital stay? This is from a study done by Sharma et al. Using quality improvement methodology, where they have found that almost similar things. So there are myths and misconceptions regarding breastfeeding, and the staff persons perceived breastfeeding in a different way. And the easy availability of formula milk and excessive patient load. These were some of the parameters which were the reasons why even during the hospital stay after the delivery, people are not able to sustain breastfeeding. So the improving first ever breastfeeding initiation after LSCS delivery is a quality improvement. Initiation of breastfeeding, the process flow mapping, and the fishbone various analysis, and subsequently various change ideas were tested through PDSA cycles. So in their setting, there was obvious separation between mother and baby, the transition in providing adequate privacy, and whenever they go for blood donation also, they give an incentive. I think project in my milk for milk. A mother walks in, takes a cup of milk, and then gives milk for the other babies. So that would be fantastic. So probably depending on the situation, it can actually improve. In another study by the Armed Forces Medical College, sharing positive stories in the unit and positive reinforcement. And one arm we gave mothers with counseling and video, another arm only the counseling, routine counseling, and we found that it really helped. So,
giving us this opportunity to discuss wonderful session where we are going to discuss. There's going to be a debate about pharmacological and non-pharmacological methods of improving lactation.
After a very, very interesting session by Anand Shivan, where he has ended the thing, ended his talk by saying, where there is a will, there is a will, where there is a will, there is a way. And practices and hematologists have come across a lot of cases where in spite of, which is actually an antipsychotic drug, which is one a side effect of implementation. So let us hear from the experts what they would like to say, whether now non-pharmacological methods are better or pharmacological methods are better. I would like to call upon Dr. Srina, who is going to talk about the pharmacological methods for improving lactation, and then follow.
Improvement of lactation of pharmacy is one of the most important objective for good to conducting a conference. That is what we actually. So in this, an average primary care mother is very much apprehensive about her nursing capabilities. There is a need to, but a mother often who visits postpartum, any doctor often seeks for some medication or other to improve her lactation performance. So how far are the various drugs that are available either in allopathic medicine or alternative medicine? We'll have a debate now. So it will be an interesting debate. There are merits and demerits. I think the speakers will align that with their presentation. Thank you.
So let's I'll just move through briefly. So we all know that lactation is a natural process. It's a physiological process. It happens after birth. It's a gift by the Mother Nature, to help in sustaining the human race, so that the newborn needs happily. If not in most of them, at least in some of them it does not happen. So we need there needs to be a support. And this lactation failure, it's considered. So there is a huge scope, as previous speaker has nicely put. So if that does not, the initiation does not happen, then the sustenance also suffers. So that is why early initiation within the first hour is often most important. So there is a huge gap to improve on this number. And subsequently, the recent data is showing an improvement in the exclusive breastfeeding rate at 6 weeks. But still, the target being 80%, so still there is a room for progress in this number also. So because of these concerns, so we need to improve. So as you can see, almost 40% they are able to lactate. So that means there is, and most important reason could be the perceived insufficiency, which could be the reason why they are unable to achieve the exclusive breastfeeding rate at 6 months. But as you go higher, the numbers drop significantly. So hence there is a room for the milk supply. So we can administer human recombinant milk prolactin. Whether it is useful or not, let us see in a few moments. And we have the other drugs like metformin, so that also can be used. The other component is the oxytocin, because we all know that oxytocin is the hormone which helps in release of the milk from the after it is produced in the mammary gland. So this can be used therapeutically, whether it is useful or not, we'll see. So this is broadly the points where these drugs tend to act. Now coming to the most commonly, chairperson has put, The commonly used medication for enhancing lactation is the 𝙈𝙤𝙡𝙠. So whether this really works or not, so there are not very large studies, it's a very limited number of studies, almost 10 studies have been reported in the literature. Some are RCT, some are observational studies, and most of these studies have been conducted in the preterm population, that is mothers who have delivered prematurely. The data in term babies is less. So in mothers who have delivered term and who are having milk insufficiency, hardly there are only 2 studies have been reported, and the number is very, very small. The number is very small. So almost only 95 mothers have been included in each arm. And but it is showing an improvement in the amount of milk that is produced. So almost there's a mean difference of 88 ml. That means 88 ml extra milk is getting generated if the mothers are given domperidone. But the time point at which this medication was given and the duration of the dose, the duration of the drug, so there is a lot of variation in the studies. So there is significant heterogeneity as far as the duration is concerned. But the overall heterogeneity is around 30%, which is reasonably okay, it's quite good. So in this meta-analysis, it clearly shows that there is an improvement in the volume of milk that is produced after giving domperidone. So it is worthwhile considering. Increase in the domperidone arm, which was given for 3 days only, 10 milligram PDS dosage, and this again significant at 3 months of life also. But at 6 months, the difference is not more significant. So supplementing with domperidone, this is in term baby, in late preterm and term babies, more than 25 weeks was the enrollment, and it clearly shows that there is an improvement. So this is from our own country, this data is there. So this again supports the use of domperidone. Now, after the end of these studies, where do we stand? What is epidemic? Whether it is the Beneshta for all the PIMS, that is perceived milk insufficiency? No. So there is because most of the studies have been conducted in preterm population. Very few are there in term population. So it cannot be generalized that we can use it for all the mothers. So it is especially useful in preterm population, and the mothers really have, because of premature delivery and associated morbidities, there is a definite higher incidence of perceived milk insufficiency. So in that subgroup of babies, in mothers, so this difference of 86 ml makes a huge difference. So this we have seen from the previous speakers that mother's own milk is very important. So this number, even though it looks small, 86 ml per day, is of very much value for a preterm baby, because mother's own milk favors much more than the donor human milk as far as the morbidities are concerned. So it reduces the NEC much more, it increases the IQ much more. Mother's own milk has got a greater effect on improving the IQ and reduction of NEC and late onset sepsis. So this 86 ml is quite a huge number as far as preterm population is concerned. And the commonly used dosage is 10 mg PDS. So there was one RCT comparing 10 versus 20 PDS, but it did not make much difference in the volumes. And there was a trend towards higher incidence of adverse effects once you cross the 30 per day number. So better to stick this number if at all you want to use. But the duration is highly variable. So we have a very range of duration from 5 days to almost 28 days people have used. And even though it was used for 28 days, the adverse effects reported were not very much. So as you can see in all the RCTs, there was not much difference in the adverse effect profile. So it is considered quite safe. But there is a word of caution. So because domperidone is not approved by the FDA, especially in the US, this is because of the major concern of ventricular arrhythmias. So that is a major concern, because there are reports of ventricular arrhythmias and sudden cardiac deaths with domperidone. So, but there is a large data from the Canadian group. So they have seen, it's a prospective cohort where they have looked at mothers who have been given prescribed domperidone in the postnatal period, in the postpartum period. They found that most of the mothers did not develop any ventricular arrhythmias or sudden death. It happened in, the number was in single digits, and the population was almost in 40,000, I think. I think 40,000 mothers were analyzed in the group. Only less than 10 developed ventricular arrhythmias. And if you look at those 10 number also, it happened only in those mothers who had a previous history of ventricular arrhythmias. So it is considered quite safe. But we have, when we are prescribing, we should take this history from the mother, whether she is having any significant cardiac illness or not. So that is an important history which we should not miss when we are prescribing Dom-Predol, because we tend to just prescribe Dom-Predol thinking it is safe. But we could land up with a mother who is already harboring. A study from our own country, from Calcutta, they have shown that the shuttle increases the lactate levels and improves the breast milk production. There are hardly any further data on this. These are the other things. That is, this is the it is called one this is the Thai name, so this is the scientific name, and very common thing like moringa, that is the drumstick. Drumstick leaves and drumsticks are have been considered useful. The other common things are barley. This is another type of som, anise seeds, and we have this breast thistle. So these have been implicated in improving the breast milk, but there are very
and so you could have listened to his voice, like it was like a lullaby continuously. I think as the listener, I'm quite convinced that so maybe if somebody saying that there is a problem with lactation, so there are many drugs are available, and Dom-Predol seems to be the best option, and it seems to be a safe option. So what should I do here then? So we have been asked to debate against drugs. Is there a possibility of throwing in or bringing some evidence which has not been presented already? So obviously no. This is the evidence available with us here. So maybe should I take a path of say trying to go through the nuances, try to criticize studies? No, this design is not good. This study they're not taken the right kind of control. The numbers are small, blah blah. Trying to find loopholes in the way things are studied. That also doesn't. I don't believe that I'll be able to counter it with that aspect. So, and of course, not with just playing of words or order skills trying. So what should I do? I think I'll simply restrict myself to only one thing. Let me keep things very simple. From a layman's perspective, from a breastfeeding mother's or the end user's perspective, who is going to approach what is good for me? Is it good for me to take drugs for lactation? And I think truth is always simple and it speaks for itself. I'll try to take that path and leave the decision to you. I can never be a good salesperson trying to promote. I don't have the skills. Okay. The first and foremost question. We all are in the branch of medicine. So some of us will practice surgery. People sitting here are all in the branch of medicine. The name itself says that actually so we're all good about this aspect. Lots and lots of drugs available. I think it's where we nowadays need to have books and apps and references to refer and even to the name of the drug. I frankly don't know whenever somebody comes with a list of even not just the brand names, just even the names of the drugs that comes from some other specialty. It is not related to your specialty. I'm just wondering, are there such drugs existing? I have not even heard the name of such drugs. So, what does it mean? Okay, good, drugs are good, but this is what seems to be happening everywhere. I think more and more the list of prescriptions, the list of the number of drugs, what we write whenever a patient comes, they're all very happy about that symbol in our letterheads. The first thing, so for any disease is this RX, the symbol that means prescribe something, some drug. Is it the solutions? Or are we more and more becoming prescribers? Or should we, or are we losing really this name called medical practitioners? So I strongly believe there is a lot of difference being a prescriber and a practitioner. So we are all trained and we are supposed to be medical practitioners where we look into a problem as a whole, approach it in a comprehensive way and try to do the best for your patient. And of course, if there is a role for drugs there in that management, then think about drugs rather than rushing to thinking that there will be a magic pill or a drug which will be available for each and every problem. Let me try the drug and that is going to sort out this problem. So, I think it was well pointed out by Professor Sriram, lactation is a physiological process. So, how frequently people sitting in this hall think that you will be using a drug to promote or augment something which is physiological. So when do we use drugs in medical practice? Most of the time. So it is about always, so we know some pathophysiology of diseases, there is an abnormal, altered physiology or pathology. So something else is happening rather than the way it is supposed to happen. That's where we try to bring in a drug to counteract or try to reverse a pathological process which is happening. So what about physiological process? So, and it is, I think this has already been agreed question on that lactation is a physiological process. There is nothing pathological about it. All mothers are more or less the same. They may have some difficulties, there is no doubt about it. But we don't expect a major pathology to be playing a role there. And when we talk about physiology, it is not just about lactation, right? We all want to be good in what we do. So whether you are a sports person or you want to increase your mental abilities, whenever we want to increase our physiological ability. Again, that doesn't mean we are completely emptying it at any point in time. So the more we empty it, the more is the protection, just like filling a balloon with the tap water. Wonderful this patients can read about, students can do and read this patient activity. So again, this is the single most important target. Whenever somebody is having a problem in lactation, we should understand due to some reason maybe this breast is not getting emptied frequently, it is not getting emptied well. The factors why that is happening, so many reasons maybe. So maybe the infant is not sucking well, or the infant is a weak infant, preterm infant. This is a time here is a scenario where you need to take a real call. So do you think that, okay, further whether it is a placebo effect or it is a real effect which is coming there, what is the harm in asking her to take all these things in the food there? So then the question.
The importance of latching and other things and improving breastfeeding. It is also mentioned that time immemorial we have been using the drugs, we have been using the candidates, because he has mentioned that probably these medicines which are going to improve lactation are not going to help where there is enough production of prolactin. They are only going to act on inhibitors and not on protecting production by itself. So I would like Dr. Subramanian to
presentation by both the speakers, and they have very well emphasized both the strengths as well as the limitations of each of their presentations. We all are clear, I don't want to read them again, sir. But there is a substitution or a replacement. Suppose there is a case of hypoprolactinemia, that there may be some things. As you said, selection of the population becomes the most important. Should not be used empirically, that's one. And you have said about the usage of various sample routines also that are good. And Dr. Mangalwar has rightly put out that the acceptability on the part of the mothers will be very good if it were to be something like a phenogric or something that is recommended by the doctor. Because it is already out for one, nobody is worried. Suppose if it is a medication, they may do it with suspicion unless they are counseled by the doctor. So both of that is a very clear and enlightening presentation. Now I think we can invite any questions from the audience. If anybody has got some doubts regarding that, they have put their points of view very clearly. And if you have got any doubts regarding the presentation, they have made. You can raise the questions or some of these will come across in practice. Because successful lactation establishment, especially the first 48 hours, is most crucial below our age, especially primary care mothers. Many of our doctors encounter difficulty here, and there is a need to improve our lactation management techniques.
Lactation is a physiological process, there is no doubt about it. Even I began my topic with that. But physiology tends to get altered in certain situations. So, as I clearly put it, it's not the panacea. Drug is not the panacea for all the problems. But there is a situation where the physiology gets altered, and that is what leads to decreased prolactin. And these drugs tend to act in that particular scenario. So, in an altered physiological situation, definitely drugs need to be given. And as far as herbals are concerned, both of us are on the same plane. I think even my talk was drugs, whether you call it as a food or a drug, it's a herbal, is a herbal. So I think that has a place definitely as far as other scenarios concerned where it's a well time tested. Since time immemorial, these herbs have been used in our day-to-day life, and definitely that has a role. But whether it is the science has proven it or not is a second question. But if you do a proper RCT, we may come out with a statement that yes, herbs do work. So herbs in definitely in right proportion, but what is the right proportion? Again, that's a big question. So when we are taking the herb as a part of food, no problem. But when you are taking it for a certain, exactly for a specific purpose, for improving lactation, then it needs to be titrated as to what is the exact dose which is going to be beneficial, because herbs also can cause harm if they are taken in a different proportion. So that proportion is yet to be identified. I think both are on the same plane on that topic.
Dr. Mangal Martin.
So I think as Sriram has come on board, as we both agree, this is the way forward. There's nothing much for me to refute. Just to, it's more of a comment than a question for Sriram. So first thing, I think there is data to show that drugs work, like even Dr. Adiswaram's data, similar last year, where it had shown even when they followed up to 6 months, the milk production has increased in the domperidone group. If that is the case, why are we repeatedly saying that they should be, the focus should be more on preterm, and we don't want to use it only for, say we don't want to consider this drugs, but if this drugs works for everyone, if it is increasing it up to 3 to 6 months and all, then why we fall back to say only in special groups or in preterm, in certain groups only, and just going to consider medication and not for everybody. And of course, the second one, his question was like, see, okay, it's easy to say take food, but when you want to prescribe something like herb for management of a certain problem, so the doses need to be verified. Definitely, that's a big limitation I do accept. That's why never I brought the names of any, that is actually a big concern, we all know. So we are all happy to promote these natural galactagogues which are part of our food, but we know the market is flooded with so many products which are, what to say, we don't know, which are combinations of most of this, because they think something will work and priced at an exorbitant money and being promoted saying this is Ayurvedic, this is herbal, this should work. So that is that's where we need to be careful. That's the time where we start demanding to have evidence, to have you. Then the onus is on us to say that if you are converting a herb into a drug, whoever is doing that, the onus should be on them to show to the world that it really works, is worth the money, it is safe to combine these various herbs and all. Unfortunately, again, as it is what is staying away from the purview of our own medicine. We do have concerns, right? We know about the legal implications of as allopathic practitioners, can we prescribe herbs as a medicine, which is a medical product, rather than just prescribing something as a food. Again, we'll get stuck there. That's a larger issue, but we as a group, as lactation is common to everyone, we should be promoting the alternative medicine to take it up and experiment and come out with strong evidence for even the herbal products.
Any questions? One or two questions.
The statement is it's just a starting problem. So the 6-month effect cannot be attributed to domperidone. They have some issues in starting, so that's where domperidone plus counseling. So if you ask me, the best medicine for breastfeeding is still counseling, and probably domperidone would have acted like an 𝐋𝐀𝐿 or a placebo. So I think that the 𝙈𝙤𝙡 which you are pointing out with all the medicines could really work. Probably we have a placebo pack with us, so that you say that I am giving this, you will start producing. That probably works. Thank you.
Sir, one point here. It tries to counsel the mother so that she will be physically and mentally fit to initiate lactation without any hiccups or any doubts. So this point I would like to ask.
Yeah. Dr.
𝐿, there are so many mechanisms required for giving solutions for that mother. But first of all, we have to identify that as a problem, emergency. We always think, okay, we can talk it out, we can make it out. No, that is one thing. And second, please admit patients if they have a problem. Admit them. We never give a bed for any lactation problem patient to stay. We are looking at it, if it is a private hospital, mothers, rural, all that. And in a government hospital, we feel we don't have space. We keep these women also extra. So please identify this as a problem, and I would even say as an emergency, and admit them and sit them. Because however you talk across a table and send them home, If you are not there, you are a lactation nurse or a nurse or somebody to support them at home. There's nobody there. They are coming to us because there was no support at home. Most of the support today, which was given earlier, like in Sanjirapatti, all these parties, athais, mamis are missing. So all this, we have to take the role of party, amma,
Okay.
This is not a question actually, I am asking for a solution. So whenever such problems keep in percent milk output, I am not confident either with Dobedo or with, for that matter, even the herbal drugs. Even though we have gone through these studies many times, we don't understand who is looking at this 80 ml milk. Is it the mother who is perceiving that her milk has increased, or it is the investigator who is actually seeing that it is increased and telling mother that your milk is increased? So, actually when you are counseling a mother who doesn't have milk and thinking of telling her about Dobedo, I don't know, I myself am not confident. Then how do I tell her that her milk will increase? How does she perceive that the milk will increase? Because the benefit is over a duration. This 80 ml and physiological also the milk goes on increasing. So we don't know actually what is happening during this time. And whether the mother is actually perceiving that quantum of increase. As far as the herbal is concerned, again I am confused. Because I don't know how much to give. Is it a routine food? Is it I give her some additional local 2 spoons, 3 spoons, 5 spoons, a katori? So just saying that herbal will help also, it is not helping me to counsel the mother. So I just want to...
How this counseling has helped, what sir is asking post-natally is starting this counseling and taking the help of obstetricians right from the antenatal period, those 9 months of pregnancy where they this counseling of taking a good food and having a psyche about the breastfeeding when they come for the first trimester check, second trimester check and the third trimester check. If they are primed about this breastfeeding counseling and about the foods which are important to be taken throughout the period and the importance of the breastfeeding right at that time, because when post-delivery when the mother is there with us, none of these counselings work. So they are in so much of stress, none of them, whether it's a pharmacological drugs, because they also act through a hormonal menu. Whatever we do, whether we counsel or do anything, it doesn't work. So maybe I always feel that antenatal counseling has really played a role, not only for the premature, but for the term babies it has played much more an important role because they get so much acquainted about the breastfeeding, and it has actually helped us in one of our 𝐿𝐼s when we started right from the first trimester, and involvement of the obstetrician as a part of breastfeeding and antenatal programs. The breastfeeding counseling becomes one of the most important, just to touch base, not to tell them about it, but what are the different positions, what is lactation, how will it start, when will it start, so that they are mentally and psychologically prepared, is what I felt helps.
Important intervention, I think that is going to resolve that problem. Having said that, we all know as physicians, whenever apart from, so it has to be a comprehensive thing, we need to focus on the various aspects available, pointed out by people here. That will be my primary focus, but I may not definitely shy away from using something as a medication, whether it is a placebo effect or something, but definitely I will not emphasize or say at the moment, even with so much of available evidence, we ourselves don't know whether this is going to work or not. How do we tell the mother whether that will really work or not? So let's keep.
Oh, madam.
About how the PSHI started and what are the challenges and how do we practice breastfeed substitutes, because the breastfeeding rate was going down and the formula was however PFHI did not take off very well in next about 10-15 years, and it was relaunched and expanded in 2009 based on new evidence, and its training and assessment materials were updated. So, and again in 2018, the revised guidelines were given by UNICEF and WHO because it included further, the people realized that yes, PFIJ was there in practice, but there was no internal monitoring. So there was no quality control what was going on. So in this revised guidelines in 2018, the major modifications were actually in the step 1 and 2. I'll be showing that. And the clinical practices were from 3 to 10. And in this step 1, there was an explicit inclusion of to fully implement the Code of Marketing of IMS and the IMS Act what to follow. So we know how bad is the breastfeeding practices in India. We know that only 50% women who are giving birth in hospital, though 80% are delivering in hospital, only 50% are starting first hour breastfeeding, and as per NFHS 5 data, only 41.8% initiate breastfeeding within 1 hour. But we know very well that breastfeeding within 1 hour can prevent 20% of the neonatal deaths, and nearly 1 lakh lives can be saved with adequate breastfeeding in India. It reduces the mortality to a large extent if the breastfeeding is initiated within 1 hour versus beyond 1 hour. It reduces the diarrheal episode, respiratory infections, and it improves the intelligent quotients also. But knowing all these facts, also our breastfeeding rates are really bad in India. And worldwide, only 10 practices are not very good. And you can see here that out of 10 IYCM practices, in fact, we have child feeding practices. In the step 1, now it has been divided in 3 subparts, and compliance with this IMS Act has come in a big way. In the number 2, the ensuring 2 most unfriendly practices in NICU. We separate the baby and mother formula, try to enhance that, which probably again is not a very good practice. We delay feeds quite a bit, and if the baby remains NBO, we do not even bother about where are the mothers and to start the expression of the baby. So we do lots of baby unfriendly practices in our current NICU systems. So before this prolonged mother, in fact, skin to skin contact. Now you can say in NICU, and then in the number 8 point, encourage the demand feeding. When the baby is growing within NICU and integrated better rather than giving a 2-hourly or 3-hourly fixed feed like that. So again, we'll come back to that. And as I said,
thank you.
There is any question?
Pediatrics department is a challenge to run the department, and she is the national trainer in IMNCA, IYCM, SAN, Pediatric HIV, and MPNC as well. So she is the former vice president of IFP in this branch and national leader.
That should be wonderful conference. One of its kind, exclusive full-fledged genes with the humans. And she has come out with some predictions. And she observed that more than 21 species. One magistrate, one of my even yesterday to my clinic, she had come. She has 2 children. She had fed both the children as a tandem nursing, and she had fed the elder child for 2.5 years and the younger one for 5 years, while continuing to work as a magistrate. So if you look at the studies before 1940, the average age of living or average in adults. So to the baby, the benefits are nutritionally there, immunologically there, and also in cognition and it does not contribute to any nutrition. But if you look at the evidence, during second year, around 448 ml of milk provides around 29% of the energy requirements, nearly 43% of the protein requirements, 75% of the vitamin A requirements, and 94% of the B12 requirements. So definitely it is nutritionally contributing to the baby's health, and really a study has shown that a toddler
St. John's Medical College, Bangalore.
Immensely impressed that LambCon is now going strong, second year, and we have such many more years, and I hope it bears fruit everywhere around the country. So my talk today is to talk about something I know is a favorite of Hyderabad, that is mom, mother's own milk. For a long time we used to ask what is mom, and we used to get all sorts of answers, multiples of median, other things, But now we all know and we are a big fan of mom, and that's probably the in way of talking about breast milk. But today I'm going to talk mainly on a specific aspect, that is quality improvement. I feel that our species is defined by pregnancy and breastfeeding. And that is what we need to focus on. And we forget this in this high-tech world quite commonly. So today I'm going to be talking on why should we focus on mom, why the QI way for mom, and I'll just talk of 5 QI projects and 5 easy steps to achieve this. And my mantra for today is, mom, make it happen, and we'll see how we'll do it. I think it took a long time for AAP to wake up in 2012 and say that preterm milk is the best for the preterm. We had no doubt. We were doing this for ages, and all our teachers have been telling us that it's not food, it's just more than food. And now we know that preterm milk is so baby specific. The smaller the gestational age, that mother's milk has much more proteins for a much longer time, and I'm giving only one example of protein. There's so much more which is specific. And India is one country which has really had a huge upscale as far as breast milk banks is concerned. And again, congratulations to Hyderabad for having the first private breast milk bank more than a decade ago. But now, we used to only talk about breast milk, exclusive breast milk feeding. But now there's a new terminology, mom. Why this difference is, we want to say that yes, even if you're giving breast milk from the breast milk bank, it is better to give mother's own milk. And that's what we are going to be talking about a little bit, that mom is superior to even donor human milk. So it's not enough to say exclusive breast milk feeding. We have to talk about exclusive mother's own milk. And this is one slide to show that. Just like we say, formula will never ever come close to mother's milk, similarly donor human milk also falls short of mother's own milk. If you look at the difference, the effect of, compared to donor human milk, mom decreases mortality, mom improves neurological development, both decrease BPD and ESIC.
Now we will move on to inauguration. And we have 2 guests, eminent guests. Sri Swami Fernandez Swamiji, who is also was a blessing behind the 𝐿 program that has been spearheaded through the Ramakrishna. And we also have a representation from NCC. I would like to ask in the hall, Dr. 𝐿𝐿𝐻𝐿𝐻𝙑 sir, Dr. madam, Dr. Kanya madam, please go. We'll start with the lamp lighting. First, Usha madam, Srinivas sir, Kanya madam, please.
दीपेन साध्यते सर्वं संध्यादीप नमोस्तुते. It is the light of a lamp that pervades all existence. A lamp removes all darkness. O lamp that denotes transition, I bow down to you. दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपः सर्वतमोपः दीपेन साध्यते सर्वं संध्यादीप नमोस्तुते. दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपः सर्वतमोपः दीपेन साध्यते सर्वं.
Please come forward. Come here, ma'am.
Ma'am, turn this side. Yeah. Little bit. Okay.
दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपः सर्वतमोपः दीपे संध्यादीप नमोस्तुते. It is the light of a lamp that pervades all existence. A lamp removes all darkness. 𝐄𝐒𝐈��� परब्रह्म
Swami 𝐋𝐀𝐿𝐴 from the Ramakrishna order, from whom we keep taking immense inspiration, and was been the torchbearer of the very I would say ancient but yet innovative program called 𝑈. The thought process, he has been inspiring us. He has brought all the immense knowledge that was given by the Swami Vivekananda and the Ramakrishna order into our scientific work. So spirituality plus science. I think today we are seeing all of this in this hall. So many thanks on behalf of Sushena Foundation and all the lovers of breastfeeding who have joined across from India, ESIC, Swamiji. Also we have NNF, National Neonatology Forum, Indian Association of Pediatricians, IAP represented by Dr. Basuraj and Dr. Bhaskar sir. Very round and warm welcome from all of us. So, and also from NCC Limited, who have been the bedrock support, unsung hero or behind the curtain people who have actually been supporting the 𝐷𝐷𝐼 Mothers Milk Bank and many such initiatives across India. We have Srinivas Murthy ji, a big round of applause. And of course, from ESI Medical College, they are part of our Sushena now. Dr. Subramaniam sir and Dr. 𝐂𝐀𝐿𝐴 sir, who is here. We have invited 𝐂𝐀𝐿𝐴 sir onto the stage, but he has gone back. See, he doesn't want to take the center stage. So thank you very much, and they have been the hosts and very wonderful and supportive in this whole initiative. On behalf of Sushena Health Foundation, because Dr. Tejo has sent me multiple warnings that I shouldn't take more time and I get emotional when I start presenting, so I'll quickly wrap up the slides. So how this whole 𝐷𝐷𝐼 Mothers Milk Bank started, we all know that just now many people presented, and I was looking at the slides of Dr. Mangala Bharati and other people. That Popu Dabba, we call him Telugu, Popu Dabba. And so that in ancient India, in Kashyapa Samhita and Charaka Samhita, Charaka and Kashyapa, 2500 years back, they talked about 𝐷𝐷𝐼. Now, who is 𝐷𝐷𝐼? 𝐷𝐷𝐼 is the mother who not only breastfeeds her own child, but breastfeeds children who are not biologically her own children. And they have written the characteristics of 𝐷𝐷𝐼. More than 22 characteristics of 𝐷𝐷𝐼 were written by Kashyapa, documented, and around 13 characteristics of 𝐷𝐷𝐼 were documented by Charaka. They talk about not having skin infections, from there to not having fever, breastfeeding their own child, giving enough milk to their own baby, and then breastfeeding. All these are documented 2,500 years ago. So big round of applause for ancient. The name has been picked up. Dr. Sundaraj Perumal, an Ayurvedic physician who is my classmate, suggested this name, that 𝐷𝐷𝐼 should be the name of the milk bank because it represents our ancient Indian wisdom and science. Tejo has kept it his plate. So that's why it is okay. So Matru Devo Bhava, Amrita Seva is what we call this. Now Sushena Health Foundation is a foundation which was established in 2016 and registered in 2017. This was when we were working in some international NGOs, and we saw that the pyramid was an inverted pyramid. And most of the funds that were coming into India were going for top-end and top-line salaries, and a trickle used to come for implementation efforts into Indian hospitals. So we were doing a very large quality improvement collaborative in 2013, 14, 15. Dr. Bhavani ma'am was a part of it, Dr. Murthy sir was a part of it, we were all doing that. And then we realized that we need to do something which can actually bridge the actual gaps which are there in these hospitals. And that's when Sushena and Foundation started. And since 2017, we have been working in the area of maternal and child health. So I would start with this slide. Now you can see, we are sorry, but the dais, it is extremely difficult. We'll share the presentation later. But this is the mother, Mamata, the first mother, Mamata, who donated milk in Dhatri in Niloufer. She donated 4 more food, and she was felicitated. Just look at the hesitated. So you can look at so many mothers. If you look at the numbers, we have had more than 33,000 footfalls of mothers and around 13,000 mothers who have come forward to donate. 13,000. When we started initially, we thought there would be a lot of resistance, and people told that it would be very, very difficult to do something. I would like to show this wonderful Akshantalu mother. That mother is Sudeshna, a software engineer who donated 23,000 ml during COVID. 23,000 ml. And the milk was brought from Guntur, Chinagalurpeta to Hyderabad. So that was the kind of, and she is Samira Sharif, who donated 4,500 ml. We were told that this religion, mothers won't, but everyone has been taken. That's the kind of, so lot of mothers have been donating and also receiving, and this is the kind of work that is happening. Lactation counseling is happening. Of course, ma'am Suman Ravan, your pillars, lactation counselors. We have an army of volunteers. Lot of mothers who are outside are donating, who are connected, and commissioner, principal secretary, all these people have been very, very supportive. Of course, the administration, general administration of RMOs and the head of the departments, the professors have been very, very supportive. Dr. Alimaylu is as far as somewhere, there she is, and Hyderabad Center for Death since 1997, and he had his semester Diksha in 2006, and he's been working in language department currently, previously worked in the maths department and also in the health departments. He's one of the person who was giving blessings to scale up the Arjunani program that has been previously started from the Ramakrishna Math. Over to Swamiji.
Doctors, sitting here on the stage. And Dr. Santoshi, Dr. Kasanaga, Dr. Albuman, like our first year, and it's great. It's great. Long good morning to all of you. The different species in your midst to pray. We all share a common concern. We want a better society, a healthy society. This is our common goal. So, wonderful technical presentations I could see in Dr. Suman and Dr. Kusharan. Generating awareness should be our primary focus hereafter. And Swami Vivekananda used to say, if there is suffering in the society of the world, the root cause is ignorance. Ajnana. The Sanatana Dharma Vedanta says that for any kind of suffering in the world, Ajnana, ignorance is the root cause. So we have to undo the Ajnana. The various levels, various kinds of Ajnana is there. This idea that I don't have to give my milk for a longer period of time for various reasons, social taboos, myths have entered. For various reasons, mother actually is not discharging the responsibility of feeding her own baby. Maybe sometimes medical reasons or other reasons she is not able to do. That's the reason actually this has been very bad idea. So to mitigate the suffering in the world, to reduce the suffering, I am not a technical expert, but this much is common knowledge. If the mother doesn't feed the baby well her own milk, the immunity levels of the child, each human being will be less. So the child baby will be susceptible to many infections. And that means not a healthy human being, not a physically healthy individual. And that's a burden on the family and also burden on the society. So we want to generate awareness, and so we want to create a healthy society, a society of healthy human beings. So this is about nutrition, right? So feeding the child with mother's milk, breastfeeding is nutrition basically. For that, mother also should keep good health. Her nutrition is important when she actually carries the baby in the womb. So there also, we know in India, the one nutrition provider, what actually it is, children are being born underweight, all these things are there. Apart from nutrition, there are cultural and spiritual factors also, which we tend to ignore in the scientific age. Mother's mental health, psychological health basically. So we have started a program by name 𝙈𝙖𝙣𝙗𝙗. The idea is to empower the would-be mothers with the right understanding, in the sense that her mental state and her emotional state plays a major role in bringing a good, healthy child. If you look at our Puranic history, we all know Gandhari, she had begotten Kauravas, wicked human beings. So why did that happen? But Kunti were born the Pandavas, the noble human beings. Human beings were oriented towards dharma, with whom actually Lord stayed, environment we can determine. So the story of Prahlada also conveys the same thing, where actually mother and father were demons, but the child was the greatest devotee of the Lord, Bhagavat Uttama, Prahlada. So we thought all these days that there is no science behind these stories, they are only myths, they are part of Purana. But now the modern science corroborates that, says that actually, apart from along with nutrition and how they have to conduct themselves, that they should not generate too much of negative thought, too much of negative emotion should not be there. And also actually we involve husbands also, we tell them that you need to give the support to the expectant mother there. And also then because husbands are taking interest and they will actually educate their mother or father, and that means the expectant mother's mother-in-law and father-in-law. Earlier, traditionally in our Indian society, as soon as the mother conceives and she goes to a parental home, the idea is that mother gives that good nutrition and love and care that expected mother needs. But today, for various reasons, life has become complex and they are not able to go to their parental home. Most of the time, they have to stay with their in-laws. And if they don't cooperate, if there is friction going on between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law is the expected mother. So that creates stress for her, and that actually reflects negatively on the baby. And that impact is more or less irreversible. Afterwards, subsequently, to undo the damage that has happened to the fetus is very difficult. That's what our Puranas have been telling it. So the epigenetics plays such a major role. So we are trying to generate awareness. So I request this team of doctors who are doing this wonderful service also to educate the young women by going to colleges, because they are tomorrow's mothers. So you need to understand that at least breastfeeding is so important. If you want your child to grow, a normal, healthy individual, you must focus on that. So when you give that knowledge to them when they are still in colleges, they are not even married, and they'll remember that, and then they'll make a kind of resolve, and the determination they'll be able to do that. And through this 𝙈𝙣𝙗𝐻 also we are trying to generate awareness that, Vivekananda language for every 3 months we get around 6,000 students. I tell all the students actually, now you are here today to learn the language. What is next? You will get a job, fine actually. After job, you will go for marriage. After marriage, you will go for children. You should have an aspiration, what kind of father I want to become, what kind of mother I want to become. You should have the aspiration that I want to become a great father, I want to become a great mother. That will mean that I will bring a great life into the world. So through such resolve, you can contribute to yourself and you can contribute to the society. And that's I now understand. But otherwise, they focus only on career and on nothing else. Other things are happening accidentally. And bringing a new life into the world that should not happen unconsciously, it should happen consciously. So we have been trying to generate awareness. That's what the 𝐈𝙣𝙗𝐻 program is all about. So I thank Dr. Santoshi for inviting me today to this place to share a few of my thoughts with you. It's the exact text. You can go to our website 𝐈𝙣𝙗𝐻𝐿.org. You have all the details there. And I congratulate the Social Foundation for the Milk Bank for the wonderful service that they are in the society. I have this by 2024, 25 milk banks. So I wish all the best. May God help them. May God actually make a
celebrations and other things. Some are other form for community awareness. He will try to come out with the innovation idea. This.
So good morning, everybody. Thank you to the organizing committee to giving us the opportunity to our team to release this song on Human Milk Bank. It's a musical conversation between two sisters and explaining how important the mother's milk for the preterm babies as well as sick newborns, and explaining how important Human Milk Bank if the mother's own milk is not available. ఈ పాట నెలలు చిన్నారులకి అనారోగ్యంతో బాధపడుతున్న శిశువులకి తల్లిపాల గొప్పతనాన్ని చెబుతూ ఆ తల్లిపాలు లభ్యం కానప్పుడు మరి తల్లిపాల నిధి ఏ విధంగా ఉపయోగపడుతుందో దాని ప్రాముఖ్యాన్ని వివరిస్తూ ఇద్దరు అక్కా చెల్లెల మధ్య జరిగేటువంటి సంగీత సంభాషణే ఈ పాట అమ్మపాల నిధి ఆరోగ్య ప్రయాధాయం. దీనికి పదాలు చేకూర్చింది నేనైతే దానికి స్వరాలు జతకూర్చింది డాక్టర్ వైద్యుల రామచంద్రమూర్తి. పాడిన వారు శ్రేయ మరియు హరి. మీకోసం ఈ పాట అమ్మపాల నిధి ఆరోగ్య ప్రదాయం.
It's been going so good so far, and we have seen so many eminent faculty all over the country talking here, and I hope I'm audible to everybody, right? Yeah. So I think there are so many people actually who work behind us, and they are not actually, seen in front at all, but they're doing so much good to the community. So this is, there are a few people that really we want to recognize the work that they are doing, and we would like to felicitate them. So I would like to call upon Dr. Anupama Reddy first. Please come on to the stage.
Dr. Anupama Reddy is a pediatrician, and she is working at Vivekananda Hospital, Ramakrishna Math, and she's after maybe once we resume with the power, but meanwhile we want to felicitate Dr. Anupama Reddy.
Yes. Sir.
Yeah, thank you.
The award is conferred upon Dr. Anupama Reddy, ma'am, for her outstanding service in the field of mother and child health for 𝐈𝙣𝙗𝐻𝐿 and bringing together best of East and West. 16th October 2022.
So, Dr. 𝐿𝙬𝙧𝙗 is a very, very close friend of mine and is inspiration for the entire SNCUs of the country. He has developed SNCU, Nalgonda into a model SNCU. You talk about SNCU in the country, you will hear of Nalgonda SNCU. And the man behind this, 𝐿𝙬𝙧𝙗, his work cannot be spoken in few words, but you should see Nalgonda SNCU to see what has happened to that place. He is best
award for public health leadership and public service is conferred upon Dr. 𝐷𝙖𝙗 sir for his outstanding service in the field of maternal and newborn health. Big round of applause for sir. Just one.
Next time, such an amount of support to Dhatri and Sushena.
A big round of applause for 𝐿𝙬𝙧𝙗 sir. 𝐿𝙬𝙧𝙗 sir represents NCC Nagarjuna Construction Company Limited. And NCC Limited not only is at the forefront in building roads, buildings and infrastructure in the country, NCC has been supporting. The new milk plant that is now being started in Gorakhpur has also received support from NCC. The new milk plant which is being started in Kakinada has received support from NCC. And the current milk plant which we are running in Niloufer is also being supported by NCC. The award that is being conferred on NCC Limited and Srinivas sir and all his team is Raja Harshvardhan Award. Now the reason why we are conferring Raja Harshvardhan Award is every year there's a place called Kanauj in Uttar Pradesh. He used to come to Kumbh Mela and whatever wealth he had, he used to donate in Mela and he used to go back with a loincloth. So that is the kind of donation that NCC has been giving and supporting this cause. So that is thank you very much for all your endowments and support, sir. Thank you so much.
So this year, Dr. P. Sudarshan Reddy sir oration is. So he is the founder president of our organization, that is Sushena Foundation. Very, very instrumental, motivator, and if you listen to him, Sushena and also Dhatri Milk Bank. And today we are here with Dhatri Milk Bank and Sushena. More than anybody, I think we all remember sir so much and is part of us everyday work which we do here. So I request 𝐿𝙬𝙧𝙗 sir to do the oration. And Dr. 𝐿𝙬𝙧𝙗 again is a very, very important person.
Friends, last month, September 4th, so when I was in Bangalore Pedicon, moderating the IYCF panel discussion, immediately after my discussion, I received a call from Dr. Srinivas sir. Sir, he has asked me to deliver an oration in the coming LAMCA. The very first I got stunned and developed goosebumps. Am I eligible to deliver an oration talk in the name of Professor Sudarshan Reddy, who is a legendary pediatrician? Immediately I requested, sir, give me 24 hours time. I will take a decision and tell you my opinion. Then I was literally confused what to do. Then I discussed with my close friend, Professor Nisarga, who happens to be the ex-HOD of pediatrics 𝐋𝐀𝐿𝐻 Institute of Medical Sciences, Bangalore. He is one of our mentors. I told Nisarga, this is what I received call from 𝐿𝐻. Hey Keshav, you accept it, man. You do it. So what I am going to do, what I am going to talk, because I am not an academician and I am not a person working in any tertiary institute. So what else I can talk? Slowly I made up my mind. I told on the 5th or 6th morning to 𝐿𝐻 sir, I am accepting the talk and then I will be delivering the talk and then the title of my breastfeeding promotion journey. Yes, good, go ahead. So whatever you like, because it's a oration, it is your choice. So once again I thank Dr. 𝐿𝐻 sir and my good friend Dr. Santosh. Though I didn't met him personally, but I know him almost since a decade because he used to depute his staff to our BP and IOS concentration courses at Pondicherry, Hindupur and Gandhi hospitals. Friends, so let me begin my talk with a beautiful Veda mantram. So the Veda mantram goes like this: Bhadram karnevi srunayamadeva, Bhadram pashyayamakshaviryajatraha, Sthirairangai tuštuvagam sastanuvihi, Vesemadeva hitam yadayu. Bhadram karnevi srunayamadeva. God, you have given me 2 years, you allow me to hear only the good things. Bhadram pashyayamakshaviryajatraha. Oh God, you have given me 2 eyes, kindly allow me to see the good things. Sthirairangai tuštuvagam sastanuvihi. Whatever may be the situation, let me not lose my temper. Vesemadeva hitam yadayu. Oh God, you allow me to do things which are useful to human beings. I feel that, so whatever work I am doing, this attributes to my work. So without much ado, let me go ahead with my presentation. Yeah. So this is the first slide on breastfeeding promotion journey. So my first slide, because this is one of the small booklet which I have written in Telugu. So way back in 1991, 92 or so. So with the title Bottle Paal Buddu Amma Paalu Kavalima. So I had an inherent interest in protecting breastfeeding right from my childhood. So kindly note the word protecting. I am not a promoter or supporter. I am interested in protecting breastfeeding right from my childhood. I still remember how I was taking breastfeeding to my mother in a standing posture after returning from my elementary school. So I strongly concur with Dr. Usharani, who was telling that the people used to returning from the school, they used to stand and take breastfeeding from their mothers. I am a living example of that. After completing my MBBS at the SUMC, I was fortunate to join in pediatrics PG course under late Professor 𝐿𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐻, a legendary pediatrician, ex-national president, who was a staunch proponent of breastfeeding. Here I would like to share that the chairperson of today's Lambicon, Professor G.V. Subramaniam, we both are in the same department. So because he is my honest colleague. Regarding how breastfeeding works, it is an anatomy of the breast. So what I want to say here is, so as Dr. 𝐻𝐀𝐿𝐻𝐻𝐿 and then Dr. Usharani madam and then so because of finance constraints, because of my production start, there was finance constraint, we could not proceed further regarding the trainings of the WQCD. But immediately I switched over to outreach trainings, like we approached Neyveli Indian Corporation, we did one training at Neyveli, and then we did at Manipal, and then we are continuously doing at Pondicherry Rajiv Gandhi Government Children's Hospital, and then with the motivation and support from Dr. Fernandez, Dr. Srinivas and then Dr. Pramod, who are our good friends, we did 2 batches of IVC council trainings at Gandhi Hospital exclusively for Fernandez Hospital. I am very proud to say Fernandez Hospital is the only hospital where largest number of lactation counselors are there. And then we did at one similar training at RDT Hospital, Patalpalli, and then I am very happy to say because the NIPSIT, it is a It's a division of Ministry of Human Resource, Government of India. So they are having an institute called National Institute of Public Cooperation Child Development at 𝐿𝐴, Delhi. They have got the similar institutes at the Indore of breast milk, and then so this is the competing of the LBW baby.
Only one word, I request to give a standing ovation for the orator.
And we have to create this kind of madness across our country, across the globe. We request Swamiji to please step forward. So we have become so mad like our Dr. 𝐋𝐿 sir. I think we will see the transformation that is saying 41% into 88% into 98% వచ్చేస్తుంది. Big round of applause. Big round of applause.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Interesting session till morning. I think we are taking a lot of emotions were there, and then
discussion with you. So I would like to thank the LACON team, Dr. Murthy sir, of course, Dr. Aparna.
Everything else which we have been talking about in the past 2 days. And the role of a pediatrician, because of the huge influence we hold in the minds of the parents, it is also a great responsibility, which is to support the mother. And when you have the opportunity to follow up regularly, along with the child's illness and the immunization visits and the well-child visits, you can see the changes in anthropometry. My hands are tied. I see that the mother is facing problems, and I want to counsel her. I just give the basics. I do a group.
Why is it so costly when it is addressing such an important issue, health issue and social issue? So if it is so costly, who would want to send government nurses and who would sponsor them?
The answer
is online lactation course, and that's designed so the issues that women dealt with is what we have used as the basis of the design of that course. The course will be available in 3 levels. The first level, and also to answer Amrita's question, as in how to peer counseling, 85 to 90% of the problems will be solved if the mother can get really good guidance on how.
Audience score is working very strongly. Complaints that her in-laws only offer watery dal chawal to eat, as whatever she eats may be harmful for the baby. What do? You agree with the in-laws. You replace the rice with chapati or dosa. You explain that watery meals have very poor nutrition, or you explain about a balanced diet. I think when you say D, it pretty much takes care of C as well. So the answer is D. Thank you, audience, for being a great audience.
Thank you.
సంతోష్ మంచి బాలుడు.
is to increase the awareness among the nursing mothers about thiamine deficiency and its effects on infants, and also avoiding the use of polished rice and increasing the use of parboiled rice or unpolished rice, and also to avoid excessive consumption of tea. And thiamine supplementation can be given to pregnant lactating mothers and infants, and food fortification is to be done. Thank you. To prevent hypoglycemia among at-risk newborns, it is a randomized controlled trial. Coming to the background, we all know that neonatal hypoglycemia is frequently encountered in clinical practice, and it is associated with poor neurodevelopmental outcomes. So what is the rationale of our study? So counseling mothers is expected to improve exclusive breastfeeding, thereby 3C initiative by combining counseling with vigilant checking and certification is likely to reduce hypoglycemia by overcoming a common preventable risk factor. The primary objective of our study was to evaluate the impact of 3C initiative on prevention of hypoglycemia among at-risk neonates, which included SGA and LGA babies, infants of diabetic and gestation diabetic mothers, and late preterm infants as compared to standard care. And the secondary objectives were to evaluate the impact of 3C on early initiation of breastfeeding, and to evaluate the impact of 3C on exclusive breastfeeding rates at 6 months. For the inclusion into the study, we included mother-newborn diets satisfying either one of these criteria: late preterms, infants of diabetic mothers born after 34 weeks of gestation, small for gestational age babies, and large for gestation age babies, according to their weight on the Fernandez charts. We excluded any mother or newborn who was acutely ill or hemodynamically unstable. The study methods, it is a randomized controlled trial conducted at 𝐶𝐿 Pondicherry. It was conducted after approval by the Institute Ethics Committee, and the study was conducted from last year September, and it is ongoing till date. Mother-newborn diets were enrolled after informed consent was given by the mother. Randomization was done by computer-generated randomized sequence, and allocation concealment was done using sealed envelopes.
So coming to the introduction, as we all know, breastfeeding is the best milk, and exclusive breastfeeding is the most important and effective ways to ensure infant health and prevent mortality. So according to the data, we have both NFHS and UNICEF data. The exclusive percentage of breastfeeding is very low, that is coming between 40 to 59% various reasons in India. So in literature also there are so many initiatives where more improvement there in premature babies or in NICUs. But exclusive breastfeeding is in postnatal data has been concerned globally, and our unit, we ourselves could have only 49.7%. So our aim is the quality improvement initiative first to improve breastfeeding practices and exclusive breastfeeding rates in postnatal wards from 49% to 70% over a period of 1 year. The methodology. So we have conducted this study from 1 year March 2021 to March 2022. All the inborn neonates who are more than 35 weeks and more than 200 grams delivered either by normal delivery or SES who were shifted to mother's side were included. And extends to the formula, lack of involvement of the family members, and there is no adherence or uniform policy starting formula in SGA and UGR and ITM babies, and early initiation of formula feeding in late preterm babies and hypoglycemia babies. There was no written policy about breastfeeding grounds or rooming in or bedding in within the unit. So our
Thank you. We thank the judges, Dr. Abhishek sir.
But also intensely doing this LAMCON conference for the second time in Hyderabad.
Actually, the first conference was planned pre-COVID, but still, despite COVID, they did the first conference with all the problems of COVID we faced, and they are continuing to do it. I really appreciate the Hyderabad and the Telangana team for this. So my talk will be covering on roles of policies and NGOs. In fact, I was perplexed what to do with this policy. All of us Indians or Indian governments, we are known for putting nice policies. And where we lack might be the implementation. But I won't say, like having traveled for 30 years in this field, that we have, and that too, which department has taken the action, you just see, Ministry of Ayush. See, one IAS officer asked me, see, in all the meetings, he said, as an administrative, medical administrator, we know that Ayabaya gets right for every delivery in IOG front. But we have not taken action. But they said, as IAS officer, we have the guts to do it. We have checked the revenue officers, we have taken action at court. So many people, why are you people not having any guts to take action against anybody? Still, you want to sit in the administrator's chair. That is why we are occupying all your chairs. That is the answer you give. So we should see whether we are good administrators or not. Again, coming on to the maternity benefit, I think I can reduce my voice now because I am like Kezuli, I really want to become emotional, but that emotionality automatically comes. Okay, sorry. Then
comes with certain partner resources, commonly asked questions, breastfeeding myths. So again, a basic app for the parents. And then you have the March of Times, which they have their own site, again looking at different areas to help the mothers. And this one I found very interesting because it has most of the breastfeeding videos. So if you're looking at videos, the IBC app is very important. So it gives you different videos to assist your understanding. Then I looked at certain apps which are for the Indian mothers. And in the morning I was talking to this breastfeeding support for the Indian mothers, and I think she's here, and the next talk is her talk, so she'll elaborate about what they're doing. But what I found interesting is, this is all in different languages.
Nice. Done.
Parents, so they are mostly for non-medical parents who want to understand the basics of breastfeeding, who want to breastfeed, and they can learn absolutely everything they need to know about it through this book. I received the Web Wonder Woman Award from the Ministry of Women and Child Development of India through the hands of Srimati Maneka Gandhi. I am the recipient of Ultimate Portion Award from the Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu. And 4 years ago, I was selected as a resident of the Facebook Community Leadership Program, which basically recognizes the work that we do on Facebook as the top 5 Facebook groups from across the world. And this enabled us to up to $1 million in funding because of the work that we have been doing. That was my professional introduction. This is my breastfeeding experience. I've been breastfeeding for the last 10.5 years now, almost. I breastfed my older child for close to 7 years of age. My younger child is close to 7 and she's still breastfeeding. And I tandem breastfed them for 3.5 years, which means I also breastfed during my pregnancy and during labor.
So, close the session, hand out the mic to organizers. Thank you, Varenda.
The quiz, the Lampon quiz on breastfeeding. And to be the quiz masters for the Navi sir and Dr. Lakshmi Prakash.
Wait.
Dr. Navi sir needs no introduction. A great teacher, a great academician. Sir has finished his BM in neonatology, taking the role as the quiz master. We have conducted the quiz in 2 parts. The prelims were conducted after the oration. Total. Have you brought the slip?
In interest of organizers and both for money and life, we will start on time. And least have 10 seconds time you will be writing the answer. And don't worry that it will be. And even if you don't write, you all pass the exam by writing some choices. So the questions are tough. Even I didn't know even one. We'll just learn and go and find the right answer after going home. So this is the point. Some of you may be playing cricket here. I've seen all ladies.